What's up, everyone? This is Ray Baguio, and you're listening to Digitally Matters, a podcast for anything digital that really matters to you and your business. Let's start the show. In this episode, we talk about the challenges and benefits of working from home as a full time employee and parent. Since I am no parent myself, I invited a guest who can give us a better understanding on how it is being a single parent while working at home and managing a team for work. Okay, now let's jump in and listen to the conversation.
Yeah, so my name is Chel Manansala. I am a team leader for a BPO company. I have 3 kids. I'm a single parent, and I have been working from home since the start of ECQ, which is March 15. So there.
Yeah. So you're working full time for this company, for this BPO company, Gel, right?
Yes, I am.
And right now you're working from home. And do you see yourself doing this more often moving forward, or is the company keen on keeping this type of setup for you?
I think so. I sure hope so. Given the situation right now, it's
Okay.
really risky to go out. And as much as I really want to, because I'm an extrovert, so I like being around people, hanging out, having coffee. But of course, the safety is very important. So this is good for me, and I'm hoping that until everything is sorted out in terms of the COVID-19, that the company would be gearing towards shifting completely for a longer period of working from home, since we are 100% operational anyway.
Okay.
And everything operations is doing good. So yeah, I'm hoping this will be for a long time set up.
So is that you saying that working from home might be a good alternative for not just for your company, but for companies or BPO companies in general?
Well, I'd say it's a benefit given this time, because of course companies cannot afford to lose their people. So for me, it is a benefit. Also because the people still get to keep their jobs, and it is an expense, I guess, in terms of, I don't know, machines and laptops and everything. So for the people, some have their own, but of course, continue operations. But I think this is a good way of, showing people, showing the employees and everybody, we are one.
How about personally, Jill? How is it working at home with your? I understand you have kids. You have 3 kids, and
Yeah.
you're working from home. You have your sisters and your mom, and everyone in the family. How do you cope up with that? I mean, how do you manage your time just to make sure that you are productive and you can get things done, especially things that are related to your work?
Okay. Well, it's a challenge, no?
Okay.
It is really a challenge for me, being that I like having coffee outside.
True.
I like having coffee in coffee shops and not really like brewing it on my own. One, because it tastes better.
Yes.
And second, because really it's the company that you're looking for.
Okay.
But
Yes.
at home, I personally like schedules. So my working hour starts at 8. So I make sure I wake up, say, at 7. Still, take a shower, wash my face, brush my teeth, and all that stuff, right? And then make my coffee, and I make sure I get out of bedroom and sit on the table and do everything there. My kids have their own stations.
Wow.
Stations like like it's a workplace. So my daughters have their own tables in different corners of the house. Like one is in the bedroom, one is in the living room. Just so everyone has their own workspace. I think that's important, especially working from home.
Based on what you observe, is this helping you as a mom or as a daughter, perhaps?
Honestly, it's a lot of extra work.
What do you
It's a
mean?
lot of extra work. When they go to school, because when they started, they were still in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before, I just wake them up, get them ready, and ship them to school.
Okay.
But
Okay.
now you're like, you have to really wake them up, like drag them to the bathroom to brush their teeth and wash their face
Okay.
before they sit and actually go online and get into the mood.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's a lot of extra work and more discipline coming from
Oh.
is expected from me since the teachers are not there and the school rules are not there. So I have to make it and implement it. So that's been a challenge. But there's always, the kids not being able to use the Xbox and no Fortnite and Roblox if they don't do this.
They'll be
And
grounded.
yeah, but now they're on official summer break, so they get to play all day for at least a week before. I sign them up to summer class, which there is still summer class online,
Online.
just so they still have consistency and at least practice for the next school year if schools are gonna be opting to go completely digital, right?
Yes.
They have to at least get into the discipline of actually getting ready for next school year.
So wait, does this mean you would rather have them at home and doing the school work or doing online studies instead of going to the school? Would you rather have that arrangement instead, or you're okay with seeing your kids all the time?
The COVID situation, the
Yes.
COVID year, but um, yeah, it's a lot of extra work for me. It's a lot of working from home is working digitally anywhere is really a lot of extra work. Whether it's managing your kids' homeschooling online, or whether it's at work, it's really a lot of extra work in terms of scheduling, keeping to your schedule, and the discipline as well as communication. There are aspects there are really really good advantages no with the working from home and the homeschooling, but in terms of there are also setbacks, but
True.
which can be resolved by the parents. But if like me, I work full time, I'm a single parent. Of course there's always the chores, cooking and the laundry and stuff like that. But I think going to school actually gives the children like more, the interaction with other people, with their peers is something that you cannot actually teach until they actually experience it. So that's one. Also with the sports, physical education, teamwork and all those things. Unless you actually make an effort to enroll them in, say, I don't know, sports or whatnot, which is not happening at this time. So that's something that they're going to be missing out on, which I don't want them to do.
Okay. A while ago, you mentioned about scheduling and your calendar. Does that mean managing your calendars, is helping you manage everything?
My calendars and also my kids, like my daughter, my eldest, Ashley, has ballet classes Wednesdays and Saturdays. Online, can you believe that there's ballet classes online? It's great, but, so they have ballet classes. And then Andrea, my second daughter, she has like calls with her teachers. Like they have performance tasks in schools that are in over Zoom. So they send invites. So I blocked that in their Gmails.
Okay.
It's crazy. At first, I tried to use that Cozy app, but unless it's open in their phones, it doesn't really work. And since I'm always on Google anyway, Gmail calendar works. So.
So, when it comes to calendars and planners, do you prefer physical calendars or planners instead of the usual, or not the usual, but instead of the alternative, which are digital planners or calendars?
Yes, you know what? I'm actually old school. So I prefer the planners that we actually write on. Because it feels good, right? When you make a list of things to do every day and
Mm-hmm.
then you get to cross it out.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
sort of an achievement, right? When you get to cross it out or put a check on it that you've done this year, you've
Mm.
completed this, and also it helps when like I'm in a meeting and I take notes. Um, I like doodling better than actually typing everything in a notepad.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it makes me it. I don't know. I understand my notes better when it's handwritten, whereas if it's in a
Okay.
notepad, and I'm like, okay, why did I write this? So yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the online calendars work in terms of sending invites, and then you have like a link to punch into. So yeah, that's very effective when I'm using the calendar for meetings. But
So.
for to dos,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I bought my kids like calendars, but of course they're not using it. But I am trying to train them. Okay, let's write it. Okay, write it down. But yeah, it takes time. So, even Ashley,
Mm-hmm.
my eldest daughter. So of course, the TikTok is a trend. I don't have
Okay.
TikTok, and she's
You
gonna kill
should.
me if I even install it in my phone because it's like, Mom, you're not supposed to be on TikTok. But she was telling me about the times like at I don't know 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and stuff that she needs to post on those times because I don't know, maybe you can talk to her about that. But she's been trending and
Okay.
she has like 22K followers now, which is great because that's all she does since summer break. So,
Okay.
but she has schedules with TikTok also, so she
Oh. Okay.
shoots her videos and then edits them. So there are time frames entirely,
Even on
but I
TikTok.
don't really understand that much. But in terms of scheduling, she also has that. So she's explaining it to me. Like I have to post at this time because, Mom. Yeah.
Now, since you mentioned about an app, are there any apps that, let's say, if I look on your phone right now or on your laptop right now, which apps will I see that you are currently or regularly using? Let's say daily. Which apps do you find
Um,
yourself using often?
well, aside from work,
Yep.
I'm usually using Slack for work.
Oh.
So
Okay.
Slack is what we use. I like it. For me, it's very efficient.
Okay.
I work off Slack all the time, especially when I'm, in the grocery and I need something urgent. So everything is in Slack. Um, I have, of course, there's Google.
Okay.
Um, daily, I have ever since the quarantine,
Mm.
there is this app called
Oh
Calm app.
yeah. Yeah, I heard about
P
it.
Calm and stuff. It works.
It works.
like
Okay.
it works.
However.
It keeps your blood pressure down. But no, kidding aside, I think it's important being a mom with kids working from home full time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes with the chores and
Mm-hmm.
everything else and managing the home, sometimes we forget to take time to just sit and be calm and not think of anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this Calm app is actually great because it you just have to sit. I don't know, nature. They just allows you to take like 10-15 minutes to just sit and be conscious of your environment. So I don't know, it calms me down. You should try it.
Yeah, I tried that before, but it's a paid app, right? You need to be on premium to get most out
Ah,
of it.
yeah. It's a paid app because I got it for free because the company
Oh.
provided if you request it and that you say that you want to avail, and they pay it for you. So I
Oh,
said,
okay.
because managing people online is a whole different ball game
Oh,
than
okay.
management in person. So sometimes I get those the Hulk moment. So I said, let me try this out.
Okay.
Sometimes I transform, I turn green and all that. But yeah, so I tried it out. And it
Oh.
actually works. I do that every day.
So other than these Slack, Google, Com, what other apps? Any other apps or tools, perhaps?
I have I have my Moodle because I'm still not done with my masters.
Oh, okay.
So right now I'm on break, so enrollment will be in August. But Moodle's still there. I am still waiting on my grades to finally be posted.
Okay.
Then there's TED Talks. I like listening to TED
TED
Talks
Talks.
and
Okay.
my ebook readers because I run out of things to do and I get bored easily. So I on for grocery runs, there's always grocery hopping. But
Okay.
when you're just at home, you run out of things to do, and sometimes it gets strange. So I don't read. When I don't read, I just listen to TED Talks first.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned about shopping, Jel. These days, from based on the results or the data that people have gathered, e-commerce has increased in numbers in terms of ROI for the brands involved in e-commerce. Now, personally, how do you do shopping?
Yeah. I go to mostly Lazada
Okay.
during the ECQ, I go to Lazada, Shopee. But also in our village, we have this like the Tahanan Village Marketplace that's very big. So
Mm-hmm.
people post their products like eggs, and we have in the park we have like what used to be a village cafe.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's closed now, so they have like a mini market. They have vegetables and fruits. So we get our stuff from there.
Okay.
They also sell like fruit shakes, stuff like that. So since it's hot, no, so usually we just
Yes.
get fruit shakes and then just walk home. Gives you a chance to also walk around a bit, yeah. But that's within the village.
Would you say that your shopping behavior or your spending is higher or lower than before COVID?
I would say lower. I get to
Oh.
spend. I mean, I get to save more now
Okay.
because I'm not out. I don't know. I get to save now during the ECQ.
Ah, okay. Not mainly because of the purchases, but probably because of you traveling, the
I
transportation,
buy by
right?
bulk.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, probably because of that, the traveling, and then of course the coffee, and let's have coffee, or let's
Yeah.
have dinner, grab a few drinks. That's not out of the picture anymore.
Okay. One last question before I let you go. Which influential people do you follow these days? Where you get your inspiration from?
What I've read so far, which has me thinking about how I think or how I do things, is like Robert Greene, The
Oh.
Loss of Power, and
Mm-hmm.
Simon Sinek I really like him and his books. I'm now reading the Leaders Eat Last.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would think right now it is important for us who are working with people, managing people, and actually being are in a leadership role.
Mm.
I think it's important to actually make an effort to spend more time with people. By spend more time, of course, there's one-on-ones, huddles, or I don't know, short meetings, calibrations, and all that when it comes to work. Because I think it's important that to know that at this time, it's not just the whole entire COVID situation that we're dealing with.
Mhm.
There's also this being at home, always harder, I would say. So I think as leaders at home, it's important to actually have conversation. Actually allows us to get to know our people.
Yes.
And what they're going through. Is their mom okay? Do they have dogs? Or
Okay.
what they do?
Okay.
I think it's just for me, for people to be better, they have to feel their value. And so that's what I'm trying to work on now. Although I'm struggling because some of my people work the night shift. So so the juggle, sometimes I work really, really early, so I get to talk to them and see how they are. I ask them questions like, how much time do you spend like lining up for grocery shopping and stuff like that. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, because I want them to hear that I'm not just interested in the numbers you put out for work for the company, but because I actually care about you and give value to you and your family. And I think that makes them want to do more, be more, not just for me, not just for the company, but for them.
So that wraps up our show. That's it for now, and thank you for listening to this episode. I hope you'll join me again next time here on Digitally Matters. This has been Ray Baguio, and until next time, ciao.